If you take Easy Rider and you mix it with Goodfellas, this is the movie you're gonna get. The Bikeriders. This movie stars Tom Hardy, Austin Butler, and Jodie Comer, but that barely scratches the surface. There's actually a ton of actors in this movie. Every time I saw a new scene, I'd be like, oh my god, he's in this movie as well. I don't want to name them all, but this movie has a very awesome stacked cast. This movie is told from the perspective of Jodie Comer's character. She is being interviewed in this movie by a guy who is writing a book. This book ends up being the book that this movie is based on. Anyway, she's telling this guy the story, so you are getting the story told from her perspective. Loosely based on a true story. A lot of the characters' names are not the same. Some of the events are a little bit fictionalized, but it is supposed to be based on a real Chicago gang. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when this movie first started, I was a bit distracted by Jodie Comer's accent. It is very thick. She's doing either a Boston or a New Jersey, whatever it is, I'm not exactly sure, but it was very thick, very heavy. And at first I was like, man, this seems a little bit like Friday night acting. But then I realized, no, actually there are people in the world that sound like this, so who am I to judge? Her speaking style really reminded me of the movie Goodfellas, because in Goodfellas, there are a few scenes where you get to see the housewives, like, God, I can't remember the lady's name, but she was the wife to Ray Liotta, and she was a very powerful actress, actually. She was awesome in that movie. Jodie Comer's character is kind of reminding me of that, and so I am going to make some comparisons to Goodfellas, because like I said, this movie feels like if you took Easy Rider and Goodfellas and mashed it together. You've got bits of that gangster element there, you've got the violence, you've got all the swearing, you got all the drinking and the drugs. It has a lot in common with that common gangster theme. Austin Butler plays his role with a suave subtlety. He's a man of few words, but when he speaks, he is interesting, and he is very good to look at. I'm not gonna lie about that. I can see why the women in this movie were swooning over him, but what really sells his performance is that he comes across as a man that has a lot of serious principles. He likes to pretend that he's a tough guy, and he really is tough. He will fight anybody at any moment's notice, but that is not the whole of his character. He does have some compassion somewhere down inside, and when you do get glimpses of that, that is where Austin Butler really shines in this movie. Tom Hardy, this guy is another person that just loves to have a good accent.
I'm Johnny. We're the Vandals.
And man, his accent in this movie is also quite intense. A lot like Jodie Comer, I would say. But when Tom Hardy gets into a character, he really gets into this character. So this is no surprise to me. I mean, in the movie Venom, he's doing both characters. He's playing Eddie Brock, and he's also playing the symbiote. And he gets to really have a lot of fun with that weird-ass voice of his. I don't like that movie. I thought that movie really sucked. But that is a very good performance from Tom Hardy, I guess, if that's what you're looking for. The point is that he knows how to do some crazy accents, and this man just gets really method and very much into his acting. He is a very interesting and very well-versed actor. He knows how to really lay on some serious performances. He is menacing at times. Ever since The Dark Knight Rises, I've looked at him as a man who can handle his shit. I mean, that was just acting, but he was looking like a brick shithouse in that movie. And so, yeah, Tom Hardy, I thought he did a great job in this movie. And to be honest, Tom Hardy and Austin Butler are like the dynamic duo that I never thought I needed, but I really want to see more of. I thought these two had great chemistry together, and it would be very interesting to see them reunite for another movie. Another thing that really works well in this movie is the musical choices and just the way the director chooses to set up some of these shots and bring you into some of these events. This is a very interesting world, the biker life. I have been to a bike gang before. I mean, just like a bar, not like in a gang. I'm not cool enough for that, but I've been to a bar and I've seen a little bit of that lifestyle, probably a fraction of what's actually going on. And this movie really shows you a bit more of that and just shows you that, yeah, it looks like these are a bunch of guys that are just riding on motorcycles and drinking beer at bars, but there is something else going on, okay? There is a family in this picture, and that is what is really holding these guys together. And I think the director really did a good job telling that story and showing you that.
I told you to take that jacket off.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off.
I very much enjoyed this movie. This movie was very fun right from the get-go. It pulled you right in. It held on to you for the entirety of the movie. I will say the third act of this movie does slow down a bit in momentum, but that also comes with the trade-off of having some of the best and most powerful performances. So yeah, in order to have some of that, you got to slow down some of the action. And you were treated to a lot of fast-paced comedy, just action, and just a lot of fun scenes earlier right away. So it's like, okay, it's fine. I'll take this little slower moment and I'll enjoy enjoy it for what it is. I would say that this movie is a 9 out of 10. I very much enjoyed it. I thought Austin Butler did a great job. Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer, the tremendous, huge cast that's in this movie. Everybody did a stellar job. The director was phenomenal. He did a great job directing this movie, and I would look forward to seeing more things from him. That's my thoughts on this movie. Did you see it yet? Do you plan on watching it? If you saw it, please put your thoughts on it in the comments. Let's get some conversations going. I like interacting with people, even the mean ones, even the mean guys. You guys are worth talking to as well. Did you like this video? Then go ahead and hit the like button so I can know that you liked it. It's a good metric. And if you want to hear more things from me, please subscribe to this channel. And that's all I have to say. Later.